Now, let's talk about creating high converting ads. What is the process that goes behind creating high converting ads? So the first step is to get your value proposition right. We talked about value proposition in multiple instances since the beginning. To put it simple, value proposition is the value that you offer to your customers. It's the value that you propose. Simple as that. While it is easier to say, but it's rather difficult to get it done. It takes a lifetime to master a skill, that can actually come up with strong value proposition. But as performance marketers, we will look at a few frameworks that can help us get closer to that. Right? The value proposition determines the success or the failure of a campaign. Right? Most successful advertisers understand this. Starting today, whenever you look at an ad, see what kind of a value is being communicated to you. All right. The biggest advertisers, they communicate the value at every touch point, be it a newspaper ad they run, or the TV ad that they do, or a Facebook ad that they are running, or a press release that they do. You will see them communicating their value proposition very clearly and subtly in different touch points. You may not realize that you are being communicated a value proposition, but you would have assumed that value proposition or built that perception of that value proposition over a period of time. Yeah. Value proposition is the primary benefit that your product delivers. It is not the feature, it is the primary benefit that your product delivers. Value proposition, it is what answers that $1 million question to that customer. What is in it for me? Why should I watch your ad? Why should I take a free trial of your product? Why should I even consider buying your product? So that what's in it for me is a question that is there in almost everybody's mind, and value proposition is what answers them. Look, here is a reason that you have to consider buying me. Yeah. People do not want your product or service. We all understand that. When you go dump a product in front of a target customer, they would obviously have no reason to consider you, right? They care about the benefit that you offer. They care about the change that you offer. They care about the transformation that you offer. Before I started using this product, this is how I was. After using the products, this is how I have become, right? For example, let's talk about a freelancer scenario. Freelancer scenario who used to do everything, all the data entry on their own, but now they have a system in place that takes care of, that automates that entire process. This is the before and after scenario. So what has happened to the freelancer now? The freelancer has ended up saving a lot of time, a lot of money probably, or at least created a lot more opportunities to make more money by saving time. Yeah. So that is called transformation. How was that customer earlier? And because they are now using a product, what is going to be the after stage? If you can get this right, then nothing like it. The before and the after stage of the customer. Yeah. So let's look at a few examples, right, in terms of strong value propositions. If you take Swiggy as an example, it is restaurants in your pocket with the best offers. Now it's pretty clear. You have almost every restaurant in your pocket today, and you can be pretty much assured that you're going to get the best offer because Swiggy comes up with a lot of discounts and offers. They offer you the best price. They sometimes offer you free delivery. Now they have something called binge plans, which can actually enable to get you a lot more delivery. But whatever Swiggy does, it kind of goes back to their main core value proposition that restaurants in your pocket with best offers. I'm not talking about their new business model, which is a Dunzo alternative, but Swiggy as their primary business model is making money from restaurants and making money from food delivery, right? So look at how they have communicated that value proposition. They can say that they are a food delivery app, but they're not saying that. They're talking about restaurants in your pockets with the best offers. Zerodha. Let's look at Zerodha. Zerodha is stock trading at lowest prices. It is not just stock trading, it's not just online stock trading, it's not stock trading through app. It is stock trading at lowest prices. Very clear value communicated to if somebody's in the process of actually considering stock trading, why wouldn't they consider Zerodha where they can get the lowest transaction fee, right? Let's look at Zoho. Zoho's value proposition is everything that you need to run your business. It is actually true because Zoho literally has every product that you need to run your business, all the way from your accounting software, your CRM, heat maps, email marketing tool, literally all the tools that you need to run your business. Zoho has built that ecosystem, and they can proudly claim that they have everything that you need to run your business. Let's look at Uber. Uber is quite simple. You all know Uber. Get your ride in a few minutes. Very simple. But what is making it a value proposition is that few minutes. Get your ride. Anybody can get a ride, but in a few minutes or in a tap of a button. So that is what Uber brought in, and they have communicated this value proposition very well across their website, apps, video. They have done this too many times. So now you know that even if you read that line separately, you will know that it is Uber's value proposition. Yeah. Get a look at Dunzo. Dunzo is get everything delivered home. That is literally who they are. Now, before Dunzo, this did not exist. There were deliveries, but you were restricted to a Flipkart delivery, an e-commerce delivery, or you were restricted to a food delivery, right? Or your regular couriers that you get. But you can literally get everything delivered to your home. So that is Dunzo's strong value proposition. And let's look at credit. Credit is again a very interesting value prop. Rewards for paying credit card bills. It is not just an app for you to pay credit card bills. You actually get rewards for paying your credit card bills. So that is credit. Man Matters. Man Matters is a digital health clinic for men. If you actually think about it, it is not like this business model did not exist, right? But nobody had taken this value proposition that we are a digital health clinic, which means you can consult with our doctors online, and that is meant for only men. It is meant for only men, right? Man Matters, a digital health clinic for men. Very clear. It absolutely communicates a clear benefit. It is distinctive. It gets attention, though it looks very, very simple. Okay. Now let's look at Amazon. Amazon is discover anything you want to buy online at lowest possible prices. That's exactly what Amazon do. Now I'm talking about only the Amazon e-com business. Amazon is into multiple other businesses as well. But for the e-commerce business, even their logo is structured in such a way, A to Z, which means you can find all the products from A to Z at lowest possible prices. If you are an Amazon shopper, you know that you will always get the best possible prices at Amazon. Hotjar, favorite tool of mine, understand visitor behavior without drowning in numbers. Now I hope you are able to see that pattern. They are talking about a common thing, but without doing that. Get your ride in a few minutes. Earlier, you were actually taking hours or you had to book a lot in advance. Get everything delivered home. It is not just get food delivery at home or get your phone shipped to home. Get everything delivered to home. Similarly, Hotjar, understanding visitor behavior may have been a long existed value proposition, but understanding visitor behavior without drowning in numbers, that is what is important, because Google Analytics lets you understand visitor behavior to an extent, but Google Analytics also drown you with a lot of numbers, right? So understanding visitor behavior without drowning in numbers, strong value proposition. Slack, bring your teams together. Now, this is not really a distinctive value proposition per se. It is very simple, but it is actually quite powerful because it's exactly what Slack does. If you've been a Slack user, Slack is a enterprise communication platform where your teams come together and work on an idea. And earlier there were Yammer and a few other platforms that were doing exactly the same thing. But Slack took this value proposition forward. Like if you have Slack, you bring your teams together. And who wouldn't want their teams to work together, right? So that kind of resonated very well. And their product actually does that. Having said it, right? Just because you want to come up with an interesting value proposition, you cannot. Your product or your service or solution actually has to deliver it. That's when it works. Otherwise it is just an empty statement. All right. So let us do a few value props. Let us take an example of growth school, right? So I'm going to show you, it is only on top of my mind, so don't read through it. We will look at different variations of, our value props, right? So growth schools, a regular value proposition, it is learn from the top 1%. That's pretty clear. There is top 1% of people, you can't really learn from them. You can only learn from academicians. Now you have access to the top 1%, learn from the top 1%. Very, very clear value proposition. If I have to make a few more variations, it can actually help fast track your career, right? Growth School can do that. And it is not just like a regular certification program or just another workshop. We have workshops that can actually fast track your career. When you learn from the 1%, you can actually fast track your career because you can avoid all the mistakes that other people do, right? Another thing that I can come up with is get an in-demand skill today, right? Because most of the program that Growth School comes up with, it's an in-demand skill. It is what the companies want today. It is what the market wants today, right? So get an in-demand skill today. That's a very powerful value proposition. Future-proofing your career because these are trending courses, and it's actually really helpful. It will help you make a lot of money, help you launch a very successful career. So we are talking about future proofing your career, because at least for the next 10 to 15 years, if you have the skills that growth school is teaching you, are very well protected, at least for the next 10, 15 years. So that's strong statement in a future proofing your career. Another thing that we can actually make a variation of it is workshops that improves your value. The workshops that improve your value. Maybe you'll have to check it with Hemingway or Grammarly. So, but you get the ideas. We do a lot of workshops that immediately improves your value. If you add that skill set, if you actually add that understanding to your skill set, it is going to immediately increase your value in the market, right? So that is another one. Another very standard way of communicating our value proposition is you learn, you execute, you thrive, right? Very simple. It's a very slightly different format than the rest of the value props that you looked at. Again, let me tell you, it may sound like a tagline, okay? But a tagline need not necessarily communicate a value prop. For example, if you take Nike, Nike has just do it as their tagline. Does it really tell what Nike does? It doesn't, right? It doesn't really communicate the value. It communicates an emotion. It communicates a feeling. That is what is a job of a tagline. But the job of the value proposition is to communicate what your business is, what you bring to the table, what is the difference, right? So this is exactly what we are, where we actually, Growth School has programs where you can learn. These are execution ready programs, which means you can execute. And once you're capable of executing whatever you're learning here, you can thrive in the market. So it kind of communicates, right? Like I said earlier, the value proposition can be for your brand, for your company, or for the specific product that you have. If I have to go back to the growth school example again, we have multiple products. We have UI design workshops, we have UX design workshops, podcasting workshop, becoming a YouTuber workshop, no code workshop, and all of that, right? Similarly, you all took the performance marketing workshop that I did. If I have to come up with a value proposition for the performance marketing workshop, that would be something like this. Marketing ROI, here is your answer. Take it. If you really are worried about marketing return on ad spend, because this particular workshop targets people who has a bit of an understanding of marketing, who at least wants to launch a marketing career. We are not targeting coders, right? Like most of you would have either had experience in marketing, or you would have been a business owner who wants to improve your marketing, or you're a student who is trying to launch a career in marketing, right? So marketing ROI is the biggest pain point that a lot of people have out there. If I can answer that, marketing ROI, here is your answer. Another thing that I can talk about is launch a thriving marketing career, right? If you're really a student and if you are looking at what are all the different opportunities that I have in marketing, because in marketing, you can do a lot of these things. You can do content, you can do PR, you can do the traditional advertising, you can be a digital marketer. Within digital, you have SEO, social, ton of options available in front of you. But if you want to launch a thriving marketing career, then this workshop can be an answer, right? Another thing, if I have to target this to freelancers, then I can probably do this, add premium to your hourly pricing, right? Because a freelancer may be charging anywhere from 1,000 rupees to 2,000 rupees. After going through this workshop, once they have enough understanding of execution, once they're really sure about adding value to their clients, they can actually we can actually make this statement to them. You can add premium to your hourly pricing now if it is talking to freelancers. Another very interesting way of coming up with, it is not really communicating what it is, but it can actually excite people that, I'm talking about become a Swiss Army knife of marketing. These are a few keywords that you will get used to as you read more value propositions. The immediate job that you should be doing is taking notes. Whenever you see a good value proposition, take a note, because you can always use some words in those value proposition as yours, or you can use a synonym, or you can use a different version of the same thing, communicates the same understanding. So here I'm talking about become a Swiss Army knife of marketing. It at least will raise curiosity. If not, it can communicate the real value of what this workshop delivers, right? Another thing, if I have to target the Facebook ad marketers, people who run Facebook ads, I can do this. ROAS dropped. The problem is in Facebook ads, right? Or I can say ROAS dropped. Here is what you should do about it. ROAS dropped. Your Facebook ads is not the only answer, right? Things like that. I can keep coming up with different variations for the same thing, because I'm talking about something that they will be able to relate to, because most of you who are dealing with ROAS, you would have seen drop in ROAS at some point. But if you're in the market looking for a solution, maybe this workshop could be an answer, right? Another value proposition that was on top of my mind is skill is greater than certificate, because a lot of people go out there for certificates by taking up really bad programs that exist out there in the market, right? Those are taught by academicians. Those are taught by the previous trainees of the training program, right? So I know there is I mean, people have two ways about certificate, but I'm not a great believer of certificate, and our program doesn't believe in that too. So if I talk about skill is more than certificate, learn from the top 1%. You see how I'm mixing and matching, how I'm actually tapping into a pain point of the user, how I'm tapping into the current uh, trending conversation that people generally look out for certificate. When I have to coach them, look, skill is more than certificate, and we can get that skill by learning from the top 1%. Look at different variations that we can come up with. I can ask a question as a standard value just to get the curiosity, maybe to an unaware audiences. I can use this value prop. Why some brands grow fast, the others don't, right? People might have always had this fascination that how are some brands growing so fast? It is not like Swiggy, only Swiggy was the food delivery company, right? There were too many others when this industry was emerging. There were a lot of people who were trying to do deliveries, but that why is that only Swiggy and Zomato moved forward and the rest of them shut down, right? So that is those kind of people will be able to relate to this better if they really want a keen and understanding how some brands grow really fast and the others don't. Your answer is this workshop. Yeah. 2x your percentage salary hike in the upcoming appraisal. Imagine usually the appraisal cycle is in the April, and some people have it in December, right? Most likely in India it is April. Around February or March, if I'm communicating this, or not really February or March, maybe a little in advance, around Jan Feb, they know that they're looking forward to their salary hike, and we can communicate this value. Look, anyway, you're going to get a percentage hike. That could be a 5% or a 10%. Why don't we give you the opportunity to double that percentage hike? I'm not saying 2x your salary, that's too big of a claim, but 2x your salary hike, it's not really big of a claim, but still is very interesting. Why, when you can get 20%, why take 10%, right? So in the upcoming appraisal, that is another value that I can communicate. Now let us look at a few other examples, right? I'm going to show you a few examples. Now you will have to tell me, I mean, not really tell me because we are not in a live session, but if you can tell yourself, out of these two, which one is a good value proposition? The left one or the right one? On the left, you have Asana, and on the right, you have ClickUp. ClickUp. So Asana is saying, get your work in Asana, which means it is assuming that people already know Asana, fast and free. Let us see if they have communicated their value here. Get started in less time than handwriting this sentence on a sticky note. Not bad. Not bad. But does it really communicate value? Let's look at what ClickUp is doing. One app to replace them all. That sounds fantastic, at least to me, because as you know, when you're in business, you will know the number of tools that you have to deal with. Tool is supposed to make your life easy, but the more the number of tools actually makes it more complicating because you'll have to deal with multiple range of tools that doesn't really talk to each other. If there is an app like this that tells me that you need only one app to replace them all, and there is a little more which is free forever, there is a bit of a social proof. Companies like Google, Airbnb, all of them are using their product. Now, to me, at least the one on the right hand side is a better value proposition, right? Compared to the one on the left hand side. I'm not saying whatever Asana is doing is wrong. It's a brilliant company. They might have targeted this particular ad to somebody in the bottom of the funnel who already know the brand very well. They're just hesitating to take up the free trial. But if I have to do an apple to apple comparison between these two, I think ClickUp carries a better value proposition. It is communicating the social proof. It is also giving a little bit of heads up in terms of what the tool has to offer. So to me, though the creative, it looks neat and simple. It looks really cool. On the other side, this is a better value proposition. Now let's come here. Again, you need to answer yourself, then you need to listen to my opinion. Which one is a good value proposition? The one on the left-hand side is Headspace. The one on the right-hand side is Calm, right? Both are in very similar business. They offer guided meditation tours in an app, right? Both are brilliant companies. You might have seen me referring to Calm a lot of times and Headspace a lot of times too. Now, if you have to pick up one, what Headspace is communicating, Headspace is actually using the prime real estate to tell that Headspace is free. Maybe they have communicated it here. Experts have shown that Headspace can help you live a happier, healthier life. This is more like a social proof, right? Let me lead this subtext. Live a healthier, happier, more well-rested life in just a few minutes a day. This sounds like a strong value proposition. I just have to spend few minutes a day, which can lead me to a healthier, happier life. Maybe this text is too much to communicate, and hence they might have probably not used it. But what I would do is, and I would probably pick up this and put it in the caption, because this is something that can go potentially unnoticed, right? And I would probably use the headspace for free here and probably come up with a more interesting headline that communicates the value. Spend a few minutes a day, something like that, for a happy life, for a happier life. Spend few minutes a day for a happier life, or be more specific. Spend only 5 minutes a day. Spend 5 minutes a day for a happier life, right? That's so it's very specific. I'm asking you to spend only 5 minutes, and I'm giving you a strong benefit, which is a happier life. You might go for it. Let's look at what this one is saying. The most relaxing app in the world. Yeah, it's not really a bad value proposition. It's definitely a good one, but it doesn't really communicate what it is or how. It is just talking, it is just boasting about itself, right? The most relaxing app in the world, right? And they're just talking about the dictionary version of calm, not feeling nervousness, anxiety, and other strong emotion. There is a decent creative. To me, at least at this stage, I do not know which one did you pick. So you can put that in the comment box, what you feel. But to me, this one is definitely better. Probably I would rearrange this a bit. This one is it's a bit too not to my liking, but I'm not saying that it's not bad at all. It can work. If Calm is doing it, and if they've been running as this from some time, it is definitely working for them. Just because they didn't put the line the way you wanted to doesn't mean it is not working. You know me. Let us look at this, a few Indian examples. Not to put Indian examples down, but this is how the BFSI industry runs. Okay, let's look at ICICI Bank. Uh, Upfront product, product name, and product features. I cringe looking at these type of ads, but I can't blame that person, because anything that you create for a bank or an insurance company, it has to go through layers of approval. At least some 15 guys will be approving this. It will go all the way up to the legal team, because they don't want to put something wrong, and they can end up getting sued for that. So a lot of approvals, and hence most likely they will end up talking about themselves and the product. I don't blame any of them. That's the way that industry is. All right. But you could have at least communicated some benefit. Maybe something like change your lifestyle, in about 3 months, something like that. Because once you start using it, start saving at least 10% on your online shopping, because you're assuming that person to be shopping online, and you're giving them a strong value, saying that you can save every 10% every time when you shop using this credit card. So that's value prop communication. This one I don't even want to comment on it. At least this one talks about features. This one is very lazy. Get your Axis Bank credit card, apply now with Axis Bank, choose from variety of Axis Bank cards. Cringe. Again, no comments, no offense to the people who actually did that. Like I said, it has to go through a lot of approvals, guys. I mean, it's not even funny what happens in this industry, right? They may have communicated better benefits in the video, but I did not get time to watch this video. But in terms of what I'm looking at, both of them are not impressive. But if I had to pick one, I would probably pick this. But it is assuming a lot. It is assuming people will know what the credit card is. ICICI Bank Oral Visit credit card. It is assuming that I spend on shopping and travel. This one assumes a lot. This assumes that I know Axis Bank. Just by looking at Axis Bank, I'll fill up a form and buy the product, right? So this ad could have done better. Yeah. Now, if you have to evaluate your value proposition, there are 4 strong points. Does it communicate a clear benefit? Yeah. Is it mouth-watering? Mouth-watering. I mean, do you really want that product? And is it specific? It is not talking too high level. Is it being specific? Does it speak to the aspirations of your target audience? It doesn't mean that you have to cater to all the 4, even if it ticks off 3 out of the 4, but at least 3 out of 4 has to be there. Now let's go back and look at a few of the value proposition that we did and the actual ad samples that you said. Now look at all these things. Does it communicate a clear benefit? Is it mouth-watering for me to click on it? Is it specific? Does it speak to the aspiration? Okay. Now this one, it definitely sounds mouth-watering. Yeah. It is actually communicated. It's very clear in terms of the benefit. It's talking about healthier, happier life. in just a few minutes. What else? What else did we look at? Does it speak to the aspiration of your target audience? Definitely yes, because I want to live a happier and a healthier life. So it definitely talks to the aspirations. So this has done a pretty good job compared to this. If you actually look at, the four conditions of a good value proposition. Now let me go to some of the ones that we looked at. Okay, add premium to your hourly pricing. Is it specific? Yes, it is specific. Does it communicate a clear benefit? Yes, but it assumes one thing. It is assuming the person who is looking at it is a freelancer. So, and hence, whenever I'm running this kind of an ad, I would target only freelancers. Simple. So, get a few more. Launch a thriving marketing career. Yeah, it is mouth-watering. Yes, it is mouth-watering. It is communicating a clear benefit. Yeah, it says thriving and marketing career. Does it talk to aspirations of people? Yes, it does talk to aspiration of people. Yeah, is it mouth-watering? For me, at least, because I came up with this value proposition. For you, I don't know, but you get the drift of it. So there are different ways to evaluate the value proposition statements, and you can come up with very many different types of variations. But like I always say, it doesn't matter what you or I think. You know who decides the winner. Yeah. So let us put an age-old debate to rest today. Okay. Long copy versus short copy. Should you use short sentences or should you write really long essays like Russell Brunson? Right? Uh, I am a big fan of short copies. Vaibhav, on the other hand, he believes in long copy. Doesn't mean both of us are right or wrong, right? As I always say, it doesn't matter. Let data decide the winner. Generally, what we do, we always come up with long copies. We always come up with short copies. We try and come up with different value proposition statements that communicates benefits, that is mouth-watering, that is specific in nature. And we test multiple things and we let data decide the winner. It is not about you or I, my friend. It is about data. The data will tell you who's the winner and what you should be continuing with for a longer period of time. So it is gone are the old days where you've written a statement and you cannot change it for the next 10 or 15 years, like Khayal Aap. You can't keep that. You can't really communicate that to the audience in the South who doesn't really speak Hindi, right? So yeah, that's a different conversation for another day. But as I was saying, that it is the data that will decide the winner. Digital gives you the flexibility to test multiple things to see what is resonating more with your audience. So you can take that to offline as well. Once you do your pilot, once you have enough numbers accumulated, once you know your value proposition is resonating very well with the audience, then you can take that offline as well. Put it up on your billboard, put it up on a newspaper, all of that happen. This is what is user testing is called. You can you are at an expense of a lot of people. You're using your online advertising machinery to test a few concepts. Once you have the proof of concept, then you take it offline. That's at least in my opinion, it's a better way of approaching things.